Howdy, I'm Martin Ralph, Chair of the Trustee Board for BSB Site Support UK, and I would like just to take a few minutes today to talk to you about the recent unveiling of the National Disability Strategy in the UK government. There are some key topics that I would definitely like to pick up, and also some areas that I think need much wider discussion as time progresses. The National Disability Strategy is an optimistic move, I think is a good, accurate reflection. It's nice to see the commitment to a national disability strategy here at home, here in the UK. It's also backed by some big names such as Microsoft, which is also great to see. With my statement of optimistic, I think there is a lot of points they want to address. It's a 100-point list with a massive cash injection in the billions, and a lot of the timestamps are heading for the end of 2021 into 2022, and I'm openly optimistic just because of the timescales. Some great content in there, but I think it'd be good for us to unpack some of those bits. Obviously, the National Disability Strategy focuses on some key areas across all disabilities, but obviously as BSB Site Support UK, we are predominantly going to focus on some of the aspects that centre on visual impairment and sight loss within the UK. One of the first areas that I'm 100% in support of, and the team at BSB are really looking forward to seeing, is the rollout of the Access to Work Passport. What is the Access to Work Passport? Firstly, Access to Work in itself is a government funded scheme which enables people with a disability to get funding to help towards equipment and access to work. So that be physical support work, so it can pay for a salary of a human support worker to assist with reading, driving, those types of tasks that may be difficult for people with disabilities. It also helps fund towards equipment and adaptations as well. Obviously there is an element that the employer should really look into, but obviously Access to Work is a great opportunity in general and is a great scheme for people with a disability to get into work and also retain work. But the idea of the passport in itself is simply you complete your application form and you have a profile with Access to Work. Currently, the current system is that you apply each time you get a new job and you get a new pocket of funding and you get reassessed each time. Obviously that's not ideal, that's not effective, and currently with working from home and flexible nature, the way people are coming out of work and also picking up work, it's not ideal and it isn't perfect. So what it would mean is that if I was to get a job, I would apply to Access to Work and I would get a passport for Access to Work, which would have all of my needs and requirements and also all of my assessments already noted down and the funding I've been approved for. Now then, if that means I then leave the role I'm in and I go for another job, that funding and that information just comes with me rather than having to reapply. And that alone is something that we welcome and think is going to be amazing. Genuinely, that was going to be introduced before the National Disability Strategy, but it's become part of it and it's great to see. Some other improvements and some other nods to different pockets of society include accessibility for travel and transportation, and also one of the key areas we're really interested in, particularly as I myself being a guide dog owner, is the commitment to assisting local authorities with pavement parking. Pavement parking in of itself has been a contentious issue for people with disabilities across the board, whether that they are visually impaired and use a cane, or whether they potentially a wheelchair user or have limited and restricted mobility, or whether they are a guide dog user. The reason for that is obviously if a vehicle is parked on a pavement, the access to the pavement and the public footpath can be impeded, and in most cases is impeded by vehicles parking half on the curb or all on the curb, completely on the pavement. Some would argue there are some areas where that's impossible, especially in really tight built up estates on new builds and things like that, but ultimately that's where the council has to come in on those local areas and either look to widen the road or look for alternative parking. as a disabled person trying to get out and about, we have to admit that that's not our problem. We just want to get out and about and live our life. Unfortunately, the issue of pavement parking is that we are forced into active live traffic, and that obviously can be dangerous for not only as a guide dog owner, not only for the dog, but also for the people you're with, and also road users. You know, they don't expect a blind person to step out into the road and have to slam on their brakes. So pavement parking in itself is a big issue, but it's great to see the commitment within the National Disability Strategy. And one of the other topics I'm going to touch on for this segment is also the accessibility of railway stations and UK travel across the whole nation. So there are over 2,000 railway mainline stations in the UK, and just over 1,000 of them have tactile paving. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But in essence, it actually isn't. One example I can actually give you right out the gates is that there's a local station to me, which is quite a main interchange, Chester. Chester Station does have tactile marked platforms. However, not all of them, as I recently discovered. So particularly platform 7A and 7B, so if anyone's familiar with the layout of this station, it's a full-length platform. 7A normally accepts services to and from Manchester via Transport for Wales, whereas platform 7B is a Merseyrail terminus, if you're getting trains, to Liverpool Central on the Chester line, which obviously encompasses the Wirral. There is no tactile paving, and that station, that platform in particular, was redone by Network Rail in 2019 as part of Merseytravel's regeneration and platform upgrade scheme. So why couldn't that have been done? Tactile paving is really important across all transportation, because obviously it tells people with a visual impairment or that can't see where the edge is or where the edge might be. And unfortunately, there is a particular case where somebody has fallen off recently onto the train tracks and did lose their life because of the lack of tactile markings. The RAIB, which is the Rail Accident Investigation Bureau, also did find there were some potential issues with lighting and some of that type of stuff as well. So it's really interesting to see there is a commitment to looking at UK railways, the train stations, the trains, and their accessibility. So we, as BSB Site Support UK, welcome the National Disability Strategy, and we are really looking forward to see how it plays out. Thank you very much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful. Also, if you would like to explore this topic with us a bit further, join us in the comments, or if not, please get in touch with us as well. You can get in touch with BSB Site Support UK on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, or of course the old conventional method of email. You can email us team@bsbsitesupport.org.uk. Thank you.